wanted to get into a little bit of theory right now and talk about diatonic chords. This is something that Bill Keith taught me about. He didn't invent it by any means at all, but he's the one that brought it onto the banjo and explained it to me, because he was a just great theory. He was a great exponent of theory. In many of his workshops, he would get into a lot of theory. So I'm going to take some of the things he taught me and teach them to you. Now, diatonic chords are chords that are built off of scales. And what Bill explained to me, let's take a G scale. That's the first measure right there. And what he said is to derive these diatonic chords, you take every other note of the scale, starting with G, do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti. If you take every other one, every other note of the scale, starting on G, dun, 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 you get, the first chord you get is a G major chord. Sorry, G major 7th chord. And a G major 7th, here's your G chord. So if you go do, re, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. A G major 7th chord has the 7th note of the scale in it. A G 7th chord has the flatted 7th note of the scale, but the G major 7th, which you hear a lot in jazz, has the major 7th, or the 7th note of the scale. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, on top of the G triad here. And I've got pinky, middle, index, and ring to create that chord. And bottom line is, all these intervals like thirds and fourths, which are and sixths, and so all these intervals are derived from these diatonic chords. Like all the sixths are coming out of these chords. So anyway, I'll get to all that in a little bit here. But okay, we have our first diatonic chord, da 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 da, and then if we do every other note starting on the second note of the scale, da 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 da, still taking the notes of the G scale, you get this chord here with the pinky on the 4th string, 7th fret, borrowing the first 3 strings, and that gives you an A minor 7th chord. Because here's the A major chord, it's like your G, F position G chord up 2 frets, and to get the 7th, you borrow the first 2 strings at the 5th fret, except it's a minor, do, re, mi, so you flat that 3rd string, the 3rd degree of the scale, and you get the bar across the first 3 strings plus the ring on the 4th string, 7th fret. And then we'll start on the 3rd note of the scale, da, 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 and we get a B minor 7th, which is the same as that A minor 7th, except up 2 frets. I find it most comfortable actually to use the pinky on the 4th string, 9th fret, and the first 3 strings at the 7th fret barred with the index, and again the middle sitting on top of them to push down a little bit harder. Because here's your B chord, here's your A chord, up 2 frets, between the 7th and 9th frets, your F position, dun 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 dun, but it's minor, so you take the do, re, mi, the 3rd degree of the scale, and flat it, and again, there's the 7th on the 1st string, 7th fret, and with the minor added in. So it's the same as this, but up 2 frets, A minor. So you've got G major 7th, A minor 7th, B minor 7th, and then do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do, re, and on from there. And you get a C major 7th, which is the same as this G major 7th, but up here. And it's the 10th, 9th, 8th, and 9th frets, pinky, middle, index, ring. And then dun dun one dun 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 bum bum ba. And you end up with the D 7th chord, 12, 11, 10, and 10, borrowing the index across the first 2 strings. Ring, middle, index, and index with a bar on those first 2 strings, and then continuing on, you get an E minor 7th. We're just going up the scale on the 4th string, G, A, B, C, D, E. And then for the F sharp, dun, dun, bum, 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 bum. Sorry, dun, 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 dun. Pardon my voice. And you get an F sharp half diminished chord, which is pinky on the 4th string, 16th fret, middle on the 3rd string, 14th fret, index on the 2nd string, 13th fret, ring on the 1st string, 14th fret. Because here's your F sharp. If you play an F sharp 7, going 16, 15, 14, and 14, ring, middle, index, and index with a bar. To diminish that, you take that part, you take the 3rd degree, 5th, and 7th, flatted 7th, and move them down a half step. So take those first 3 strings, move them half step down. You may not remember all this, but I'm just giving you the technical details. That's an F sharp diminished chord, but it's only half diminished, which means that 1st string has to go back up a half step. I'm not going to get into diminished chords right now, but bottom line is you've got 16, 14, 13, and 14. And then you end up back on G major 7th, 17, 16, 15, 16. Okay, so G major 7th, A minor 7th, B minor 7th, G major 7th, D 7th, E minor 7th, F sharp half diminished, G major 7th. And then that's a real grab. So, again, these are all derived from taking every other note of the scale. Do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti. Do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do. And just going all the way up, and you end up back where you started.